What is up everybody, and welcome back to Zero Customs. And today on the video, as you can tell by the thumbnail, the title and what's right in front of me, we are going to be showing you how you can rebuild a PZ26, if I can get the right light, yeah, PZ26 carb for 125 motorbikes. Now this isn't just for the PZ26, this can be for any carburetor that has the same model as this. Like, as soon as I get some more money through, I'm actually going to be upgrading my bike from a 26 to a 32. So if you don't know what those numbers mean, that's just the millimeters. So this is 26 mil carb. I want to upgrade to a 32 mil carb because I did have that on a previous bike and it really did change the performance. So let's just get straight into the video. So the tools you're going to need for this video is going to be a screwdriver with a Phillips bit and a flathead. Also a wire brush. I'll show you why in a second, and a 10mm and the nuts for the reassembly to the motorbike. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is this top piece here. So you're going to have a big spring, and inside the carb, right here, I don't know how much you can see that, but because I don't know how good the lighting is, but as you can see, in there's a slider. So you want to take that slider out as well, and that slider will have a needle, and in there will be a clip. That helps the needle sit into place. Now you can change the needle with the settings on the actual needle at the top that will change the setting of the needle so your bike can run leaner or richer. I don't know which one mine is on right now, and I'm not going to change it because I don't need to, but yeah, that's just in case you wanted to know. So basically this is like your throttle body of the motorbike. So your throttle cable will come through this spring, which will be inserted. It's hard doing this without a phone mount, so bear with me. This will be inserted into there and compressed, and the needle the cable will come into this big hole, and you'll put it down, loop it underneath, and then let go, and it will be stopped because there's actually, if you can see in there, there's like a barricade. Oh, let me just pick the spring up, drop that. And pretty much I will show you how to put that onto the bike right at the end of the video, but for this main bit we're just going to show you the car. So this thing on the side here is your choke. Now this is for when it's a very cold day, your bike hasn't been turned on yet and it's struggling to just run. So what you'll do is you'll pull the choke up, which will allow the butterfly valve to close, allowing no airflow, theoretically choking the bike, allowing it to just completely start up straight away. It allows no airflow, so it's just pure fuel and spark, allowing it to instantly combust. So that is that. This little nipple thing right here, that is where your fuel pipe connects to from the fuel tank to the carburetor, and that fuel pipe goes down into here and into the bottom of the carb, which is where your floats are going to be and your jets. So to get to the float and the jets, because that's the main part of what you're going to need to clean out, you're going to need to take off these screws. So we've got a crosshead, or Phillips head, however you want to call it. As you can tell, because my carb is now upside down, all the fuel from the bowl, this bottom piece here, if I turn it up the other way, this bottom piece here is called the bowl. And as you can see, all the fuel from my bowl is spilling out. And I'm not too worried about that, because the carb needs to be fully cleaned anyway, and although I could have reused this fuel, it's a bit too late now, isn't it? So basically you're going to want to take this out, and this out. So let's go do it. Right, so now the fuel is out of the bowl, you're now left with these floats. Now you want to make sure that these are intact and not damaged, and that these clips here and the way that the little spring underneath this bit right here, I don't know if you're able to see very well, you see us opening and closing, going up and down. You want to make sure all of that is also intact, because if it isn't, that means your bowl, your floats aren't going to float very well, because it's going to be damaged, and that's going to allow big problems for your fuel, and it's going to make it leak out, and it's going to make just big problems. And instead of when the fuel fills up and closes that valve. If it doesn't do that, it's not going to close the valve and you're going to have fuel spill out everywhere. And also this O-ring right here, you're going to want to make sure this is also in good condition and not damaged, for the pure reason that you don't want air leaks or fuel leaks. And this thing on the side, that is your idle screw. Now that is what you adjust for your revs. So when you're not going anywhere and you're sitting still and the bike is idling, this is what you want to adjust. If your bike doesn't idle and it just instantly just dies, you're going to want to turn the idle up, but you're not going to want to whack it full beam. You want to slightly adjust it, very, very, very slight. Massive bolt, I'll show you here. This big massive one here is your main jet, and this smaller one here, that is your pilot jet. You can identify these pretty easily: main, big, pilot, small. Right, now this little needle here, I can't remember the name of it, I can't remember exactly what it does, but it is what goes in to the part that goes into the manifold. So this will go into the manifold and then into the engine, and it is a little tiny hole just inside there where this tiny tip here will poke out of. Now I'm guessing it has something to do with the fuel and air, I'm not too sure, but nevertheless you want to make sure this is clean. Very clean. You don't want any dirt or anything inside your car, because that goes into your fuel, into your engine, and yeah, you just want to make sure everything is clean, otherwise it will not run correctly. Right, so now your carb is disassembled and it looks a bit like this. What you want to do now is this is where the wire brush comes in. So what I've done here, if you can see very well, I've actually bent one out. Just one, that's all you need. And what you're going to want to do is you want to grab the jet, and you see all of these tiny holes, you want to get this one piece of wire and jab it into these holes and just give it a little wiggle. You see how it's gone all the way through? That means that hole is clean and clear. So you want to do that to every single hole on the jet, on both jets. So yeah, you want to make sure that every single hole in this has been has had the bit of wire pushed through. Now some of these were actually just becoming to be blocked. So I'm glad I did this video. Otherwise I would have been out somewhere on a bike ride and I'd have been stuck. So now once all of them have been hit with the wire, now you just want to get this top piece. Normally if you were smart and prepared, you would have you can get like cans of air, compressed air. You would just shoot that down the jet just to blow everything out. But we ain't got one of those, so we're going to improvise and use our mouth. You put your lips around the main jet and just blow, and that will be enough pressure to blow any dirt that's in this main jet. So that's all done. Now I'm going to do the exact same to the pilot jet and come back to you. So you want to be very careful when you clean these jets not to touch them with your fingers and not to put them on any surface that could have dirt, because you're just going to block them straight back up again. So you want to make sure that's clean. My one is already clean and really good, and there is no holes in this, so you can't clean this really. It's just the outside you need to look out for. But mainly the majority of it will be clean. So now that's literally it. You just got to make sure you inspect the inside of your carb and make sure it's all clean, as you can probably see by my one. I don't know how well you can see. Hopefully it's not too shady and you can actually see in there. I'll try to put you closer to the carb. It actually works quite well. But inside is all clean. Now just to be double check, I'm just going to blow down these holes. Now it's clean. And you also want to inspect your bowl and make sure there's no dirt or anything inside this bowl, ever, anywhere. It all needs to be clean. So looking at my one, just going to get just going to blow through my overflow, put a little bit of the wire brush down it, just because it feels a little bit blocked. And blow down there. And that's clean. That's as clean as it's going to get. So now it's just the reassembly. Okay guys, so now everything is all clean. Now you want to put your jets back into the carb. So I'm going to start with the main jet and put it back into the main jet hole. Now be very careful. You do not want to over tighten this and strip this out. You do not need to ratchet this up hard. It just needs to be in there enough to where it's secure. Line the bolt holes up and put your screws back in. So that's literally how easy it can be, and the reason you want to do this, not regularly, you don't want to do this like all the time, you just want to keep an eye on it and keep on top of it. Because so basically let me give you a few problems that you might have with your bike. So it was running fine one day, you've gone to turn it on even with choke, and it's not having any of it. It doesn't want anything to do with you and it doesn't want to start. So it's looking a bit darker. That's the best one. This is going to be just way back up. So it's not starting and it just doesn't want to go. So now you have to think, how old is the fuel in your bike? If the fuel is quite old, you've probably got bad fuel and you really need to drain it out and get better fuel. Because if you use old fuel or manky fuel in a carb, it ain't going to work. It's going to clog the jets and it's just going to put you all the way back to the situation where you have to rebuild the carb again. So that's what you have to look out for. So basically, if it isn't starting at all, then unfortunately you've probably clogged your jets, or your bowl is leaking fuel and the bowl slider is broke. So you just want to go into your carburetor, make sure everything is completely clean and unblock your jets like I just showed you. So another problem that it could be is that it's running and you're riding and then it starts bogging out, and like you've got some weird bogging problem. Now that is where the slider will come into play. So basically, let me try to show you in this because it's got some better lighting in here. Inside here, you see there's a clip. Now, if that clip gets broken, your needle is just going to bounce up and down, it's just going to bounce around. This happened to me on a bike beforehand, where I lost my clip, and me and Brad from JBS Garage, he comments on pretty much all of my videos. If you haven't checked them out, make sure you do. But he actually ended up cutting up a Coke can and folding it and making that my clip, a Coke can, right? How smart is that? So that kept the needle in place, but one day, after using it for quite some time, the Coke can didn't do its job and it kind of fell out. So the needle was bouncing everywhere and it was causing my bike to just bog around, and I could give it throttle, but I would be jumping around a lot. And that was because my slider was just bouncing up and down. So if that's happening to you, inspect your carb and look at your needle. It's a high chance that your clip has broken and you need to get a new clip. I don't advise using a Coke can. Although it does work for a little bit of time, it's not permanent, and sometimes it can even cause more bad than good, and it can damage the inside of your slider. So basically, that's it. That's the carb rebuilt. So now what you want to do is you want to refit it to your bike and see if it runs. So I realised that the audio wasn't being picked up, but I'm just showing you where the air filter goes on the carb and me just assembling it really. Okay, so now I'm just going to be installing the slider onto the actual throttle cable, and it's actually quite a pain because the spring is actually really strong and gives a good resistance. So it does take a good grip just to get that cable in there, but once you've got it in there and you've slided it down, it's on there solid and you're all good to go. So right now I'm just about to insert it into the carburetor. I didn't get a very good camera angle, as you can clearly see, but nonetheless the carb is on there, and I'm just going to quickly show you that the slider is actually moving up and down as it should, and just showing you what should be happening with your carb. So I'm just tightening up the carb to the bike now, just hand tightening it for now, and then I'm going to be showing you exactly what's happening on screen. I'm just putting the petrol pipe on and turning the petrol on so that the carb can fill up. So now just going back with the spanner, really tightening up the carb to make sure it's definitely stuck against that manifold, and now it's time to run the bike. Okay guys, so this is the end of the video. I'm just editing now, and realised that I didn't record an outro. But yeah, I don't know why, but around somewhere here where I'm talking to the camera, the voice quality just for some reason just goes out the window and I start going all muffled. I have no idea why that's happened, but I just wanted to let you know that also the video quality isn't great, and I don't know why. I think my phone is slowly dying on me. It just makes me think even more about getting a camera and to like hurrying up and buying a better quality thing to film with, and it really is showing me here. But if any of you guys watching know any good cheap like starting out cameras or anything to do vlogging and recording with, please drop it in the comments below and I'll be more than happy to take a look at it, but be reasonable, I'm not a millionaire. But yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope that it helped you, and I'm hoping that people who actually came to this video to rebuild your own carb at home, I really hope this video has helped you and that your carb and your bike is now running perfectly now. So this has been 0@0 Customs. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you smash the like button and also the subscribe button and the post notifications, because you do not want to miss when I upload. But yeah, this has been 0@0 Customs, and I'll catch you in the next video.